recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man that go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Amadeus.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Amadeus.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Amadeus.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Amadeus.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Amadeus.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Amadeus.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Nobody knows why liars lie. Winners are not allowed to allow losers to rewrite history. It's God's side and the other side.
Country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good. Okay, bitch, and look like Mr. Potato Head.
I didn't want to be a movie star.
No, you couldn't be a movie star. Ricky Smiley can't act. Cause Ricky Smiley can't act. Why is he in a dress again? He didn't be wanting to Barbie. And you gotta tell him no. Sid ain't got no special, you remember? Eve ain't got no special, you remember? Ricky ain't got no special, you remember? Sir, I have 12 comedy specials. P. Diddy or whoever you is. TVJ, 20 of them. I won't stop burning you down until there ain't nothing left. Rubble on top of rubble and I'll still be bombing. Look like a wall, Richie. Look like a wall. You need some no. Look like a wall, Richie. Look like a wall. You need some no.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to the QueenAShakur TV show. I'm your host, QueenAShakur, and this is your daily vitamin. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live, okay? So let's get ready to get into it. Likes up, everyone. Let me see if I can hide my pillow here because y'all too nosy. Okay, I need a pillow for my back. Okay, so with that all being said, please like and share. Remember, it doesn't cost you a single thing. You can do it absolutely for free. Okay, so please get the likes up. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr.A_Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. All right, let's get ready to get into it. Cyrus is here, Antoinette, Claudette. All right, Cookie, I see you. Nessie X, Laverne. All right, Mr. Elevation, On Purpose is here. All right, Claudette, let's get into it. Oh, hell no. And so, oh, hell no, said, me too, this booty heavy. No, that's right, okay? All right, so, hey, Yvonne, and let's get it started. Likes up, everyone. Hey, Sandra. Okay, so with that all being said, and without further ado, Let's talk about Shanquella Robinson. Now, you all remember what happened when she went to Cabo with those fake friends of hers. She came up, deleted, and everybody had their own story to tell. We saw the video footage, so we know that she was absolutely attacked. Hey, Sandra and Queen Shay. So that all been said, now her family is suing. Okay, Ben Crump is their attorney, and they have issued a statement. They, in fact, held a press conference. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to look at a couple of brief, Mr. Elevation in the house. Going to look at a couple of brief news reports, and then we'll get to the press conference.
Woman died on vacation 2 years ago in Mexico. Now her family is suing the people they believe are responsible. Thanks for joining us. I'm Scott Wickersham.
I'm Erica Bryant. There's this lawsuit that includes details not previously made public about the days before and after Shanquella Robinson died. Channel 9's Erica Jackson is live for us tonight. And Erica, her family is suing more than just her travel partners in this case.
Well, Erica, yeah, they say it's been 2 years with no arrests and no justice. Now, the so-called Cabo 6 and 2 federal agencies are at the center of this lawsuit. Robinson's family acknowledges it won't bring her back, but they hope it will bring them closure.
It's been more than 700 days since Shanquella Robinson's mother, Salamandra Robinson, spoke with her daughter.
Shanquella was a kind-hearted person, loved people. You know, she would never do no wrong to nobody.
2 years later, more details are coming out about Shanquella's final moments before she died on October 29th, 2022. According to a lawsuit filed against her 6 travel partners, also known as the Cabo 6, they invited Shanquella to Mexico last minute because other guests backed out. The complaint alleges members of the group recorded video as one of the travelers attacked Shanquella.
Now, one of them didn't have no sense to stop it or try to help her.
The suit says after the attack, Shanquella was lethargic and not verbally responsive. And when a doctor went to their villa, the 6 others told her Shanquella had alcohol poisoning. According to an interview with the doctor listed in the complaint, she insisted Shanquella would need to go to a hospital, but the group refused requests to take her there. The suit alleges Shanquella had an injury on her forehead and claims one of the 6 travel partners told law enforcement it was from falling in the pool. An autopsy report says Shanquella died from a broken neck and spine.
They all had a part to do with it. They all played a part in her murder.
The suit says the 6 others returned to the U.S. the next morning, one day ahead of schedule. Now, 2 years later, a family friend of Shanquella says they can't run from the situation anymore.
This was a choice. This wasn't a mistake y'all made. It was a
Okay, I'm going to stop right there because, again, we're going to be listening to the press conference. But here's the thing. You know, it's interesting that they invited Shanquella last minute. So when they initially made plans, and usually if you're traveling out of the country, this is something that you plan for weeks and even months in advance. So the fact that they invited her at the last minute only after some other people decided to cancel says to me they were not her friends in the first place and that they really didn't want her to go. Now, maybe they ended up inviting her because they wanted her to foot some of the bill. That's what it sounds like to me. And those people are not your friends. Whenever someone does something like that, listen, if they didn't initially have you in mind when they were planning something, they're not your friends, okay? Because I wish my friends would. If my friends are planning something, they're going to ask me first, not last minute when somebody else cancels. That's not what friends do. So they were not her friends to begin with. They only used her, in my opinion, after whomever else canceled, okay, so they could just get some of the trip paid for. And I do believe that it was said when all of this first happened initially that Shanquella paid for a majority of it. Okay, so just a bunch of users and haters is what they likely were. And this is all so sad. May she rest in peace, and my condolences to her family. With that all being said, let's continue. I'm going to go to the, hold on, beloveds. Okay, here we go. Yeah, these people clearly were not her friends. Absolutely, they weren't. I'm going to go to the press conference. Not going to play this whole thing because it's like in excess of 20 minutes. Here we go. Likes up.
Be able to look up how often you vote. So vote on or by Tuesday, November 5th.
And there we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Family, friends, Charlotte area news media. I am Mario Black, founder of Million Youth March of Charlotte and Salisbury. As you know, today is the 2-year anniversary that a queen was taken from not only her family, but the Charlotte community. So last week when Sue Ann called me to tell me about today, my heart was overjoyed. And I've been emotional over other stuff, life, just been lifing, but that was tears of joy last week when I talked to them on Friday. So here we are, we're here. I'm not gonna take up too much time, but thank you for thinking it not robbery to come.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. It's Halloween. I saw somebody said Halloween, they don't celebrate, they turn their lights off. Honey, I didn't even realize it was Halloween. I better turn mine off too, because I don't deal with Halloween. But anyway, let's continue. Sorry for the interruption. I just was shocked because I don't pay attention to the holidays. Didn't realize it was. Okay.
Come and stand with this family. The news outlets, thank you for thinking it not robbery to continue to keep the coverage going, not only in Charlotte, but across the world, because Shanquella Robinson's story touched the masses, and it happened in our backyard. So we appreciate everyone, and I'm going to turn it over to Mom Robinson.
Good evening. I'm Shanquella Robinson's mother, Salamandra Robinson, and I would like each and every one of you, if you can, anything you can do, step in and help us with justice. We need justice for Shanquella Robinson. It has been 2 years, and there's no reason that no one has not been arrested yet, and I need justice for my child. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Sue Ann Robinson, and I have the honor of representing Shanquella Robinson's family. Today marks a very somber and heartbreaking milestone, the 2-year anniversary of the tragic murder of a remarkable young woman whose life was cut short in a senseless act of violence while she was on vacation in Mexico. Shanquella Robinson was more than just a victim. She was a daughter, a sister, a friend, a vibrant soul full of promise and dreams. Her laughter, her kindness, and adventurous spirit touched the lives of everyone who knew her. Today, as we remember her and take action towards justice for her, we are reminded of the joys that she brought to our lives and the profound loss felt by her family and friends. As we stand here today, we must confront the reality that those responsible for her murder have not been held accountable. As we stand here today, we must confront the reality that those responsible for her murder have not been held accountable. The lack of justice serves as a painful reminder of the vulnerabilities faced by individuals, especially young Black women, when they seek adventure in unfamiliar places with unfamiliar faces. It is our responsibility to ensure that such tragedies do not go unanswered. We are here today not only to honor Shanquella Robinson and her family, but to call for action. We demand still, again, and until the end, that authorities take the necessary steps to investigate this case thoroughly and bring those responsible to justice. We believe that every victim deserves to have their story heard and their rights upheld, regardless of where they are in the world. As we reflect on the past 2 years, we also look to the future with determination. We will not rest until justice is served for Shanquella Robinson and her family. We urge all of those in positions of power and soon to ascend to positions of power, to prioritize this case, to ensure that accountability is not just a promise, but becomes a reality. We thank you for your support, and we are open to take questions on the litigation that has been filed. Yes.
Jeff Chandler, the Charlotte Observer. Have you had any contact with any of the 6 individuals that were on the trip with Shanquella since before or since the lawsuit has been filed? You were the family?
No. Yes.
Morgan Francis with Queen City News, first and foremost, continued condolences to the family for what you've been through the past 2 years. It's been hard on you guys. Piggybacking off of what you said, do you know their whereabouts of all the Cabo 6? I know initially it was that some of them have moved out of the area. Any knowledge on where their whereabouts are? And then I have another question.
All the information with respect to their whereabouts, we pled in our complaint to the court.
Okay, and then wanted to touch on the lawsuit when it comes to the State Department and the FBI. I haven't seen too many cases, if any at all, where they're mentioned in a lawsuit. For the FBI, it mentions a delay in getting that second autopsy. Obviously, there were conflicting opinions between the Mexican authorities and their autopsy, the one that was done back here at home. Is there another case that you guys can point to that kind of is a comparison in a way for an appropriate timeline to get a second autopsy done like that, or is this just such an extenuating circumstance?
I think the point of the lawsuit is that it is an extenuating circumstance, right? That no family should have to go through this, that the federal authorities have a duty to thoroughly and quickly investigate a claim, and that every day that they delay is justice denied for this family. And so it is unique. It is, in a way, of first impression, but it doesn't mean that it isn't a remedy that should not be sought. I don't want to be here. I didn't want to be here. If it was up to me, we would have had a thorough investigation and had answers for this family 2 years ago. But we're here, so we're going to fight on. Yes?
Question for Salamandra. How did you feel when the lawsuit was finally filed?
Well, it's not going to bring back Shanquella Robinson, but it's that I know that the FBI should have been done something at this time after 2 years ago. I know a lot of stuff that was in the phones of Shanquella Robinson that I gave to the FBI, and the FBI looked over it like it was nothing. And, you know, and just like you just pushed my daughter up under the rug when you should have been arrested these people. You had a video where she was being brutally beaten, but you want to mess with the autopsy and say that she did not have a broken back or spine when the FBI are deliberately lying, because someone had, attorney had already, not my attorney, but attorney had already told me don't let the FBI mess with that autopsy, that they were going to switch it around. And that's exactly what they did. And I'm fed up with this stuff. I need justice for my child.
Amen.
Yeah, so let me just say this, because the FBI doesn't care. They do not care, because the thing of it is, when you think back to Natalie Holloway, who lost her life over there in Aruba, they did all they could for that case to get their family justice. They talked about that case for years after. Okay, with Jordan Vandersloot, wasn't that his name? They talked about that case for years after. You saw Beth Holloway, Natalie's mother, everywhere. Okay, they left no stone unturned trying to get justice for that woman. But here it seems like they just purposely dropped the ball, like they don't care. They give 0 Fs. They haven't done any due diligence as far as I'm concerned. And even after seeing that nefarious video of her being beaten so brutally like that, literally attacked, they want to act as though she didn't have the injuries, that those injuries weren't sustained from somebody doing something vicious to her. Okay, please make that make sense.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes?
Was there any new evidence or any new pieces of information that have come forward to make this the specific time of bringing the lawsuit forward? I know the course the significance of today's date, but was there anything new entering into this case?
We did disclose in full the Mexican investigation in the complaint, which we had not done before, in the hopes that perhaps the State Department or the FBI were actually, as they indicated, working on something. But as you pointed out, today would be the 2-year anniversary, and they have not communicated with us anything other than stating that we can wait another 5 years for a response to our public records request on what they did. So we don't have an option. Their actions have led us to this point.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. Excuse me, I'm gonna stop right there. This is all ridiculous. Tell them they can wait 5 years. Honey, they are just blatantly letting them know they give zero else. 5 years? Are they serious? What a slap in the face. Okay, this is the U.S. government. Where are Biden and Kabani on this? Why aren't they making the FBI do their job? Okay? Why aren't they making them do their jobs? Why haven't those killers been extradited so they can face charges? Okay, please pay attention. Now let's go to this report about it on from Good Morning America, and then we have to move on. We have to move on because I have yet one more live to do on the spiritual channel. Okay, here we go.
Mysteriously, while on vacation in Mexico 2 years ago, the family of Shanquella Robinson is now suing the 6 people she was traveling with, as well as the Justice Department and the FBI. Faith Abube joins us now with more. Good morning, Faith.
Yeah, good morning to you, Robin. Shanquella Robinson's family believes that the federal justice system failed them. 2 years after the North Carolina woman's death overseas, there is still no arrest. In fact, federal prosecutors have declined to pursue justice or charges in this case. And so now the family is believing that this lawsuit could potentially give them what they see as justice and accountability.
Something. Let me say this. Support the arts. I already said this before. Here you go with the same bogus excuse. Support the arts says Kamala isn't the president yet. Blame Biden, not her. First of all, Kamala said herself she was a big part of all the important decisions. Biden said the same thing, so sit down somewhere. I'll blame exactly who said that they were in charge of making important decisions. That would be her and Biden. He's always called it the Biden-Harris administration. They both share the culpability.
This morning, Shanquella Robinson's family taking the FBI and the U.S. State Department to court in the mysterious death of the North Carolina woman. The newly filed lawsuit also naming the so-called Cabo Six, acquaintances who were vacationing with Robinson when she died in Mexico.
Those responsible for her murder have not been held accountable. The lack of justice serves as a painful reminder of the vulnerabilities faced by individuals, especially young Black women, when they seek adventure in unfamiliar places with unfamiliar faces.
The legal filing detailing multiple accusations, including wrongful death, conspiracy, and emotional distress.
It has been 2 years, and there's no reason that no one has not been arrested yet, and I need justice for my child.
Robinson was found dead in October 2022 inside a villa in Cabo San Lucas. Her travel partners allegedly saying Robinson died of alcohol poisoning, but an autopsy concluding Robinson suffered a broken neck and spine. This still image from a disturbing video surfacing on social media shortly after the incident, appearing to show one of Robinson's acquaintances beating her while 2 others recorded. U.S. authorities declining to pursue charges this past April, citing insufficient evidence.
This really speaks to how the family feels like the system failed Shanquella, and they're really seeking justice and reform when we look at them, including the FBI and the State Department, in their procedures that allowed for this to happen.
The family still hoping an ongoing investigation in Mexico will yield some answers as they remember Robinson as more than just a victim.
We are reminded of the joys that she brought to our lives and the profound loss felt by her family and friends.
Okay, so that's extremely sad. You know, condolences to her family, friends, and loved ones. And I'm glad that they called the thugs who she went on the trip with travel partners, because they clearly were not friends. They were never her friends to begin with. Now let's get into it, because this nefarious man at Disney who was fired, he was so mad that he hacked the restaurant menus, altering peanut allergens, peanut allergen info, and adding wingdings, whatever those are, and then claimed that the FBI had in fact framed him. Let's get into it. Now let me put his face up on the screen. This sounds absolutely nefarious. Please pay attention. And he looks like he did it. Look at him. He is guilty as charged. Okay, pay attention. A fired Walt Disney employee in Florida is accused of hacking into software the company uses to create the menus for its restaurants, changing, among other things, the allergen information, and potentially creating a serious public health scare. Now, just imagine if someone who's allergic to peanut has peanut allergies. You know, these things can be deadly. Okay? Shellfish allergies can be deadly. Now, what if somebody had eaten this stuff and knowing that they're allergic to it? Okay? Not knowing that it was in there. He was trying to get them sued. Michael Schur, who was fired from the company in June and arrested last week, is charged with knowingly causing the transmission of a program to a protected computer and intentionally causing more than $5,000 worth of damage without authorization, according to the federal criminal complaint filed in the Middle District of Florida. Among the allegations contained in the complaint, authorities said that Schur threatened public health and safety by unlawfully accessing the company's menu creation servers. Okay, specifically, he allegedly manipulated the allergy information on Walt Disney's World menus by adding information to allergen notifications indicating that certain menu items were safe for individuals with peanut allergies, when in fact, they could be deadly to those with peanut allergies. Just low down. Who thinks of this besides devils? Now, though Disney is not directly named in the complaint, Court Watch and 404 Media confirmed with Schur's defense attorney, David Haas, that the media and entertainment company referred to as Company A in the complaint is in fact Disney. Schur was employed as a menu production manager with Disney until he was fired on June 13th of 2024 for alleged misconduct. Probably did something nasty to the food. See, people who come up with this kind of stuff, it's no telling what they do around other people's foods, because he's clearly vindictive, okay? And this is just all crazy. Now, in the role, he was responsible for the creation and publishing of menus for Disney's entire restaurant portfolio, per the complaint. Authorities allege that only an employee who held Schur's position or position similar to Schur's would have had the accesses and the knowledge to carry out such attacks. Okay, so they basically know he did it. So in addition to changing the allergen information, federal authorities say that Schur also made more benign changes to Disney's menus, such as distorting prices, adding profanity to the menus, and replacing all the fonts with symbols known as wingdings. I'm sorry, but some people are just so ridiculous. Well, let me continue. Not that he added profanity to the menu. The complaint states that Schur's alleged criminal conduct took place between June the 12th of 2024 and September the 23rd of 2024. Now, on the latter date, federal agents executed a search warrant on Schur's home where they seized 4 of his personal electronic devices. Now, during the raid, Schur repeatedly denied responsibility for the alleged attack or the hacking, instead asserting that Disney was setting him up, as if they had nothing better to do. Schur denied any involvement or wrongdoing in the activities described. Okay, so he further alleged that Company A was attempting to frame him because they were worried about him and the conditions under which he was terminated. Okay, Schur stated that he was surprised to see the FBI, but he would not have been surprised if the sheriff's office came to visit him to ask him to cease and desist with sending emails that could possibly be perceived as threatening. So he's out here sending threatening emails. Clearly, that's what he was doing if he said he wouldn't have been surprised. So under questioning, Schur allegedly said that while he was employed by Disney, he used a personal Google Chrome profile to conduct some work activities. However, he was unable to definitively say if he had accessed Disney systems following his termination, because he may have used the system for things like pay stubs and other financial information. Shouldn't have been using it at all once he no longer worked there. So, I mean, just a likely story is all I'm saying. So the complaint claims that Shure's alleged actions cost the company at least $150,000. Haas told NBC News that Shure has an undisclosed disability, which he believes impacted Shure's termination from Disney. Disney failed to respond to his inquiries about being fired, and he then filed an EEOC complaint in response. Now, Haas has also emphasized that the allegations acknowledge that no one was injured or harmed, saying, "I look forward to presenting my client's side of the story." Shure is scheduled to appear in the federal court on Tuesday for a bond hearing, according to records. So because no one got injured, it's okay. Someone could have lost their life with his foolishness. Okay, please pay attention. This is all crazy. This man is clearly pressed and upset and bitter and butthurt and vengeful because he got fired. Otherwise, why would he be sending them these emails that he said could be deemed as threatening? Well, they clearly were threatening if that's what he's going to suggest. And then Reggie says, oh, the mental illness card. Right. Now all of a sudden he has some undisclosed disability. How long has he had it? Because clearly he was working there until he got fired. Okay, I have several questions, is all I'm saying. I have several questions, but let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, in other news, this devil took out the landlord. Tenant facing eviction who rolled dice on fear and adrenaline defense after execution murder of landlord may be regretting that now. So he said he was afraid for his life and that his adrenaline was pumping. But please pay attention. This is him right here in the yellow. The other person in the hat is the landlord that lost his life. Unfortunately, condolences to his family, friends, and loved ones. A Maine man will spend the rest of his life in prison for the execution killing of his landlord, who was simply trying to evict him. Randall J. Hennessy, 33 years old, learned his fate on Wednesday in the death of Douglas McCoud, 31 years old, who was convicted of murder, in July. His conviction came after he rejected multiple plea deals. I bet he's wishing he'd have taken those plea deals now. Okay? He should have definitely taken, if you've killed somebody, they're offering you a plea deal, please take the plea deal, fool. I mean, do you think you're just going to miraculously get off? So anyway, Hennessy shot McCoud several times in the chest on the front porch of an apartment on Union Street and Biddeford on September the 14th of 2021 before returning, and then shooting McCoud in the head at close range. Dirty devil. I mean, he meant to make sure he was gone. Now, Hennessy rode off on a dirt bike, shouting at McCoud's girlfriend in his girlfriend's direction. "Welcome to Biddeford, bitch." That's what he said. Okay, as she held McCoud. Okay, he was arrested hours later by a U.S. Marshals task force in Durham, New Hampshire, when his dirt bike ran out of gas. You can't make this stuff up. And what gets me is now he shot this man multiple times, left the man lying there for hours, came back, shot him in the head at close range, then rode off saying, "Welcome to Biddeford, bitch." And he didn't take a plea deal? My question is, why was he ever offered one in the first place? This sounds like a case for a capital murder. Okay, like he should be on death row as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's the callousness of it all for me. Now, at his trial, Hennessy took the stand claiming the shooting was self-defense. So you shot this man multiple times, rode off on a dirt bike, yelling profanities, came back, and then shot the man. I'm sorry, I got that out of order. You shot the man multiple times, left on a dirt bike, then came back, shot him once more at point-blank range, at close range, and then rode off yelling obscenities at the girlfriend who's sitting there holding him in her arms. But this is self-defense. He claims that McCoud lunged at him. Well, of course he did. I'd lunge at you too. If somebody's got a gun at me, I'm going to lunge at them. That's what you do. I've told you all that before. Okay? If someone has a gun, then you lunge at them to try to take it. Now, I'm just saying this is what I would do if that's all you have left to do. If they have a gun and you don't, and they're pretty much going to fire on you, well, if you want to try to save yourself, the best thing to do is to lunge at them and try to take the gun away. Now, if they have a knife, on the other hand, run. You don't want to lunge at somebody with a knife. That's all I'm saying. And it doesn't do much good to run from somebody with a gun because the bullet can travel. That's all I'm saying. Now, with that all being said, he says the man lunged at him. See, this is the same insidiously obtuse argument that the McMichaels said about Ahmaud Arbery when he tried to fight back. Okay? When Travis was trying to shoot him, he grabbed the gun and there was a struggle. He's trying to fight for his life. And they tried to use that as the reason or an excuse for why they had to shoot him. Oh, he grabbed the gun. Yeah, of course he did. He's trying to fight back to save his life. What are you talking about? Some of these people, I don't know where they get off with these dumb, ignorant excuses and talking points. He says, I knew he was going to cause some serious injury. He just came at me. Oh, he just came at you with a gun in your hand and not his. He just came at me and I had a reaction of fear and adrenaline. And I just pulled my weapon as fast as I could. Yeah, you already had the weapon in your hand. That's why he lunged at you. Now, McCall's girlfriend testified that her boyfriend had been trying to evict Hennessy after a disagreement about motorcycles outside the apartment that he would flip and sell. So Assistant Attorney General Jennifer Ackerman challenged the defendant, noting that Hennessy's cell phone background photo and a green and white family crest with the phrase, I live by force and arms, saying that's what Randall Hennessy decided to do, that to have for his phone wallpaper. Okay, that's exactly how he lived, okay, by force and arms. This is what she said. She said, this is exactly how he lived on September the 14th of 2021. He solved his problem with force and arms, and that's how Doug McCall lost his life. So at Hennessy's sentencing, Somerset County Superior Court Justice Richard Mulhern agreed with prosecutors that McCall's death was an execution. It definitely was. Point blank range after you fired multiple times. It says he seemed to place himself as the victim, Mulhern said. He seemed to join his family and Mr. McCall's family as somehow co-victims, but he should not do that. He alone is responsible for the loss of the McCall family, the loss that the McCall family has suffered. And there's also been a GoFundMe set up to support McCall's girlfriend and their baby boy. Jamie and her son, Jamie and her son are in for a long road and certain to face many obstacles that they will never fully understand. However, we can at least help alleviate some of the financial burden. Please join us in donating towards the expenses of Jamie and her son's first year together. This is all so nefarious. He killed the man because the man was trying to evict him over his own ignorance. Like I said, condolences to the family, friends and loved ones, specifically the girlfriend and the new baby. This is a darn shame. Now she has to raise that baby by herself. But let's continue. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Now, let's talk about this devil who killed a baby. Mom of baby beaten to death searched the internet for shooken baby. Blames injuries on toddler. And she's now facing capital murder. Sitting up here looking like a deer in the headlights. Killed the baby and then looked up something to try to figure out her excuse. That's her. So let's talk about it. This is Brittany Bailey. 31-year-old mother in Texas is facing the possibility of the death penalty several months after she allegedly beat her 3-year-old daughter to death, then performed an internet search about the baby being shooken and blamed the child's fatal injuries on a 17-month-old child. Isn't that a darn shame? Authorities in Travis County on Monday filed documents charging Brittany Bailey with one count of capital murder of an individual under the age of 6 in connection with the child's death. Now, according to a news release from the Austin, Texas Police Department, the investigation into Bailey began when officers responded at 11:14 p.m. on March the 10th to the Revel Apartments in the 5,000 block of the North Lamar Boulevard in reference to a 3-month-old child who was not breathing. The county's fire department and emergency medical services were dispatched to the apartment complex. Upon arriving at the scene, first responders immediately located the victim and began performing life-saving procedures. The victim was transported to a local hospital for further evaluation and treatment. Now, unfortunately, the baby succumbed to their injuries and was pronounced deceased on March the 15th. Condolences to the family, friends, and loved ones who actually cared about this child, unlike the mother, sadly. Authorities did not reveal the victim's cause of death, but emphasized that the victim's twin sister appeared to have been physically abused. They say during the initial investigation, detectives uncovered evidence concerning the decedent's twin sister having non-accidental injuries, according to the police. Now, they say child abuse detectives have arrested and charged Brittany Alicia Bailey for injury to a child, a first-degree felony, for the injuries sustained to the decedent's twin sister. Bailey initially told authorities that after changing the victim's diaper, she went to wash her hands, and the victim rolled off of the changing bed, striking her head and then vomiting. First of all, who's dumb enough to leave a baby on a changing bed that's high in the air to go wash her hands? Bailey later blamed the injuries on her 17-month-old child. According to a report from Austin ABC affiliate KVUE, in a March 2021 interview at the police station, Bailey maintained that her toddler was responsible for inflicting the fatal injuries on the victim. However, when detectives showed her evidence that such a scenario was not even possible, she reportedly nodded in agreement. Okay, asked to use the bathroom and then left the station abruptly. Bailey was arrested on the injury to a child charge for the alleged abuse of the surviving infant. She was released after posting bond of $250. Now, the Travis County Medical Examiner's Office performed an autopsy and released a report on October the 4th, in which authorities determined that the victim's manner of death was homicide and the cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head. Now, the report also reportedly determined that the victim's injuries were highly suggestive of suffering previous head trauma. So this wasn't the first time the child had injuries to the head. This is also darn sad. Newly released court documents obtained by the station also reportedly show that in the days prior to the child's death, Bailey performed an internet search for how do I know if my baby has been hurt or shooken. Bailey has been held in the Travis County Jail on a $600,000 bond. She's scheduled to appear in court November the 14th. Idiot. Just the whole devil. Took out the poor child. I mean, if you don't want children, please just give them to somebody who does. Okay, go take them to a fire department and drop them off safe and sound. Do anything other than what she did. It's absolutely deplorable. Absolutely deplorable. Now, let's talk about this man whose sentence was overturned. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Detroit man has double murder conviction overturned after 22 years of imprisonment following courts learning of a corrupt officer, who wrote a false statement and forced someone who could barely read or write to then sign it. It's all nefarious. This is what some of these devils are up to. You all need to be paying attention. Okay? This is what some of the police are out here doing in these streets.
Begin tonight with the Detroit man finally free after having his conviction overturned 22 years later. Thank you so much for joining us for 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Mike Duffy. Lavone Hill was convicted back in 2002 of fatally shooting 2 people. His conviction was overturned yesterday by a Wayne County judge after it was determined that evidence against him was forged by a corrupt Detroit police officer.
7 News Detroit reporter Tiara Braddock spoke to Hill about his family and the years lost behind bars.
I've been fighting for this day since the first day I was arrested and the first day that I entered prison.
Lavone Hill has spent the past 22 years in prison after being wrongly convicted. He is now home in Detroit, but his release didn't come without a fight.
I appealed this case to every court in the land. There's not a court from the trial court, my appeal to right, Michigan Supreme Court, Michigan Court of Appeals.
Back in 2002, Hill was convicted of fatally shooting 2 people in Detroit following a dice game. His conviction was based off of a statement of a supposed eyewitness who said he saw Hill shoot the victims.
My trial, I knew something was fishy.
With the help of the Michigan Innocence Clinic, Hill was able to prove that something was wrong with his trial. Attorneys from the clinic found out that the alleged witness's statement was false, and it was actually written by former Detroit Police Sergeant Walter Bates. They also learned that the witness could not read or write very well.
There had been just egregious misconduct in this case, and that all evidence pointed to Mr. Hill's innocence.
Jenna Cobb is the co-director of the Michigan Innocence Clinic. She helped prove Hill didn't get a fair trial. While it's not known who killed the two victims, what is known is that Walter Bates, who helped put Hill behind bars, had a known history of corruption. Bates was suspended from the police department during Hill's trial in 2002, and the disgraced police sergeant was later convicted of bank robbery.
The case really rose and fell with Sergeant Bates.
Do you have anything to say to Walter Bates?
He attempted to destroy my life by putting a double murder on me. I never became angry. I never became bitter. And I entered the prison system with the thought like, I'm getting out of here.
On Wednesday, a judge overturned Hill's conviction, and he was able to finally walk out of prison and reconnect with his family.
It gave me new life, new meaning, new purpose. I'm just happy.
Hill says he is looking forward to spending time with his family, especially his children and grandchildren.
My youngest daughter, her birthday is coming up November 5th, and I'm finna have the opportunity to spend the first birthday with her.
Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy says she will not be retrying Lavon Hill in this case. She added that in all of her years of being a prosecutor and judge, she has never seen anything like this. Reporting at the Wayne County Justice Center.
This is all just a darn shame. And the cop who did that was a black cop too. Please pay attention. Low down dirty devil. Then went on to further rob a bank. But he was a police officer at some point. This is all crazy. Now, during the trial, the witness actually recanted his statement and told the courts that Bates coerced the statement out of him, which Bates, of course, denied. Okay, after reviewing the case again in 2024, Wayne County Judge Patricia Friesard overturned Hill's conviction on October 23rd, stating that it was clear that Hill did not receive a fair trial. Hill spoke out saying, for almost 23 years, I've had to live with the reality of a nightmare that I may die in prison an innocent man based on misconduct in the Detroit Police Department. I am also very sad that the families of the victims lost their loved ones and were lied to about me being the guy who killed them. Meanwhile, the real killer is out there free. The judge also claimed that Bates's testimony was a pivotal part of the case, and there would be no way the courts would put Bates on the stand again to testify. During the initial trial in 2001, Bates was actually arrested for bank robbery and conspiracy to commit bank robbery. This is all so crazy. You know, here's the thing. I don't think that ever anyone's guilt or innocence should only be based solely on the eyewitness testimony of one person, because eyewitness testimony is usually not even accurate. Okay, at least about 75% of the time it isn't. And not to mention, sometimes people are just flat out lying. So if you're going by what one person says, should someone's life really hang in the balance on that? One person saying you did something? What if that person doesn't like you? What if that person just wants to see you going down and just make up something? Okay, let's not forget the story of Troy Anthony Davis, who's in his case, it was the eyewitness testimony of the real killer. Okay, allegedly. That person who testified and said it was Troy Anthony Davis was allegedly the real killer, according to many people. A drug dealer who shot that cop and then went down to the police station with his lawyer and lied on Troy Anthony Davis, who eventually was unfortunately executed, okay? Completely innocent. Allegedly. Now he was executed, but the person who gave the testimony that was supposed to be the eyewitness, many people believe that that's the person who actually did it. And I believe so too, after reviewing the entirety of the case and looking over the evidence. I absolutely believe that was the real killer. Now listen to this, so sad. A 13-year-old girl killed after she fell while attempting to subway surf in Queens, New York, after, another teen was left in critical condition. Now, for those of you who don't know what subway surfing is, he's about to talk about it because I'd never heard of it. I don't live in New York, so I don't ride a subway, but just listen to this.
Young girls were subway surfing on a Manhattan-bound train outside of 111th Street in Corona. When they fell between cars. One of the two tragically lost their life, and the other remains in critical condition.
Some people want to blame the MTA and say that the MTA need to have more security, the police need to be there all the time.
But that was supposed to be my train I was supposed to be on, but I couldn't take it no more, you know what I'm saying? Kids stay in school, Don't Subway serve.
So I think it has a lot to do with their home life. The parents, the children need to have more responsibility and appreciate the life that they have.
Two young girls were subway surfing on a Manhattan-bound train outside of 111th Street in Corona.
Let me say this. That lady sounded kind of crazy to me. She's sitting there saying that the children need to have more responsibility and this and that. The girl was 13 years old. How much sense does a 13-year-old even have? Okay, how much sense does a 13-year-old really have? Okay, we know kids are not that smart. Okay, but not calling them dumb, but what I'm saying is they don't have enough experience in life to understand the dangers that they potentially put themselves in. So, and then she's talking about the parents. Parents can't keep their eyes on their children 24/7. Kids lie about their whereabouts. They sneak off with friends. They do things that parents don't even condone. Now, some of these parents absolutely do need to have more. Need to be more strict on their kids, but that isn't always the case. So anyway, according to NBC New York, the teens were attempting to subway surf, a game made popular, by these phone games, the same name where people jump from car to car for fun. Unfortunately for these teens, it ended in a tragedy after they allegedly fell between two cars, causing them to be crushed. Oh my Lord, it sounds awful. The 13-year-old Cristile Romero of Brooklyn died on the scene. The other 14-year-old girl remained hospitalized in critical condition early Monday afternoon. She's believed to have suffered a fractured skull and brain bleeding, Lord have mercy, and reportedly cannot breathe on her own. This is all so darn sad. This marks the 6th death of the year in New York City caused by subway surfing. Okay, so with that all been said, honey, prayers for a speedy recovery for the child who's had the fractured skull and the brain bleed. This is absolutely awful. And condolences to the family of the child who died. This is so very sad. People do need to be talking to their children about playing these deadly games and following these trends on social media, which can very often result in harm or even death. Okay, that's what parents and grandparents should be telling these children. Now let's talk about this Pepsi layoff, because a lot of people got up that work at Pepsi and went to work only to be turned around and told that they were laid off, that there was no more jobs for them to do. Slap in the face, abrupt closure of last Pepsi plant in Chicago leaves workers stunned. So all Pepsi employees, including 55-year-old Daryl Smith, were informed of the closure at about 5:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, around the same time that Teamsters Local 727 received written notice from Pepsi attorneys. Smith noticed a high presence of security on site, but didn't think much of it until he was called back into work at 5:45, saying, "As I walked through the door, I asked them, what's going on? Are they about to shut the plant down?" And she put her head down. This is what Smith said on Monday. They said it's an old plant. It has a lot of work that needs to be done to it, and they weren't going to put any more money into it. And as of today, the plant was shut down. Well, why didn't they tell these people previously? Why did they give them advance notice? How do you let people go home from work one day thinking they're coming back the next day and there is no work to come back to? Okay, please make it all make sense. I'm going to go to the news report. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Here we go. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance.
This afternoon, the second shift of workers got the news.
I have a daughter in school. I have a house. Come on. Y'all can't do people like that. Y'all a big company. At least give us a heads up.
PepsiCo is closing the 60-year-old plant at 51st and Low. Today, workers were notified when they arrived to work they would be off the job as of today, but get pay and benefits for 60 days.
Everybody doesn't know how they're going to take care of their kids. They don't know how they're going to put the kids through school and stuff like that. So it's a shock to everybody. Right now, I'm still in shock.
I love this job. I was here early every single day. At 1 o'clock, first vehicle you seen roll through here was my truck. I rolled through here at 1 o'clock, and this was 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. And I don't start till 2 o'clock.
John Coley represents workers here and in other Pepsi facilities in our area with Teamsters Local 727.
I've never seen something like this. A big company acting this way is deplorable.
PepsiCo Beverages North America issued a statement saying, in part, the decision to no longer operate at 51st Street is a difficult one. This is a more than 60-year-old building that has physical limitations. Juan Gonzalez was on first shift and had worked here for most of his life.
45 years in 2 minutes. They finished 45 years of my life.
Testimony resumes this morning in the
Now that's just a darn shame. That man's worked there most of his life, like 45 years, closed up without a word. And then they're trying to make these asinine excuses. Oh, it's a 60-year-old building and this, that, and the third. Okay, that's all fine and understandable. But why didn't you tell these people previously? Why did you let them work until the very last minute? This is all a shame, but now here they say PepsiCo ending production operations in Ohio facility, 136 workers laid off. Let's go to this report. This is at a Cincinnati plant.
A big group of people just thrown out. Your service, nothing.
So about 150 workers will be out of a job come the new year after PepsiCo announced production operations will end at the Cincinnati facility. In a statement, the multi-billion-dollar company says its decision was made to optimize the plant by turning into a scaled warehouse. Brenda Ordonez is live after speaking to laid-off workers who said this really was a shock.
Yeah, Trisha, the worker I spoke to has been working here at the PepsiCo for about 33 years. She says while the abrupt layoff did come as a shock, she did notice some cracks in this facility over the last couple years.
You didn't get to say goodbye. You didn't get to say goodbye to your supervisors. And you didn't get to say goodbye to a lot of people.
After 33 years at PepsiCo's Cincinnati facility, it's not the send-off Anne imagined, just 6 months shy of her retirement.
What infuriates you is they're standing there and they're just looking at a small group reading off their paper like it's a prepared speech. But it's not just that 40 people standing there. Every one of those people has anywhere from 2 to 5 people next to them. It's their kids, it's their spouses.
On Monday, Anne, along with a handful of her coworkers, were notified the plant would be discontinuing production operations, leaving her and 135 others without a job.
They had boxes already lined up in the hallway for you to come down the hallway, take a box, go in and clean out your locker, and go. You'll be paid for till December 28th, and your medical will be covered till December 28th. And then that's it.
In a statement, PepsiCo confirmed production operations will completely shut down on December 28th, but the facility will continue operating a scaled warehouse, noting the decision was made to optimize its manufacturing network.
It's been slow for probably almost 2 years. This was the worst summer we ever had, as long as I've been there. Usually we're working all kinds of overtime during the summer. And this summer, there were days where they didn't have enough to run the whole day, those shifts.
A statement from PepsiCo said in part, quote, supporting our employees during this transition remains our top priority, and we are committed to continuing to serve the Cincinnati community.
It is very shocking and numbing when it happens. I tried to ask. I wanted to know about our pensions and the money that's owed to us for our vacations and stuff. You have to talk to your union because that'll all have to be negotiated all these years, and they're just not even a thank you.
Yeah, now about 104 affected workers are in a union represented by Teamsters Local 1199. That's the union that's going to be representing these affected workers in contract negotiations with PepsiCo moving forward. Now, Fox 19 did reach out to this union for questions and comments about what bidding rights these affected workers may have. We're still waiting for those answers. For now, live in Arlington.
Okay, please pay attention. That is so low down, okay? If I drank Pepsi, I would definitely boycott them and all their products. But I don't deal with Pepsi products. And I specifically don't drink sodas at all, ever. I can't remember the last time I drank a Pepsi. It was probably when I was 10 years old, and I'm being so serious. Okay, I want you all to pay attention, though. because that's absolutely a shame. But let me ask you all something. One's in the chat, beloveds. Now, one's in the chat if you have ever eaten at a potluck at your job. One's in the chat if you've ever eaten, if you ever partook in a potluck at your job. And don't lie, because I will find out. I don't know how, but I will. Okay, a lot of ones. Well, let me tell you all something. I don't eat at potlucks because I don't know who cooked what. And I'm real funny about people's cookings. You might have somebody like Kamala Harris who wants to cook their greens or clean their greens in the bathtub. But let that be a lesson to you all, because here's the thing. There was somebody who brought a potluck of seafood to work, and everybody got sick. They had mass food poisoning. Please pay attention. Okay, mass food poisoning. I want y'all to pay attention to this. No more potlucks. 46 seafood distribution workers hospitalized for food poisoning after a male employee brings meal prepared at home to feed staff. He could have done it on purpose, or maybe he was
News alert tonight.
Maybe he just had poor hygiene, didn't wash his hands, cross-contaminated. Who knows? But this is all gross.
Learned multiple people have been taken to the hospital after a mass food poisoning incident. Sky Fox Live over that scene right now in Chesapeake Bay Court in Jessup.
Yeah, all of this reportedly happening at NAFCO Wholesale Seafood Distributors. Howard County EMS evaluating more than 30 patients on scene. We are working to get more information as to what exactly led to this food poisoning, who was involved. We'll get those details and bring it to you as soon as it comes into
our news alert tonight. We've learned.
Now listen, here's what it says. Howard County Health Department determined that a male employee of the company prepared food at his home and served it to the employees, who ultimately became very sick. Following this incident, the company released a statement wishing everyone affected by the incident a speedy recovery and stressed to the public that no consumers were affected by this. Okay, and no consumers, but clearly the people who ate it. Honey, let me tell y'all something. Let me just tell y'all some of the things people be doing out here in these streets. People be washing their collard greens in the bathtub, kabammy. People be washing their chicken and their meat in the sink, not in a container, but literally in the sink. Now, mind you, some of them would argue that if they cleaned out the sink thoroughly, that there's no problem for them to lie their meat in the sink and wash and then even season it. Disgusting. With that all being said, there was a test that a guy did on a TikTok video over about a year ago, where he took these little petri dishes and he collected samples of bacteria from a sink that looked like it was very clean. And I think that he may have even showed himself cleaning it. Nonetheless, it was one of those stainless steel sinks. Nonetheless, he collected the bacteria, put it in the petri dish, and allowed the petri dish to set in the refrigerator for a period of 12 hours. 12 hours later, you could see the bacteria growing. 24 hours later, you could see there was even more bacteria. By 48 hours, you just want to fall out and throw up. That's how gross it was. So even if your sink looks like it's clean, trust me when I tell you, you should never be preparing food in a sink. I don't care how clean your sink looks. You should be using a container, a cutting board, a bowl, Tupperware, something. Okay? At the end of the day. Sheesh. It's all nefarious. At the end of the day. See, this is why you can't eat everybody's food. Let me tell y'all something. I was at somebody's house one time. This was years ago. I was at somebody's house and for a cookout. Well, it wasn't a cookout. It wasn't a cookout. Actually, it would be called a barbecue. It would be called a barbecue. See, because I call it a cookout, but the people whose house I was at, they call it a barbecue. With that all being said, at this barbecue, this person had some stuff on the grill and they put this seasoning on it, some sort of sauce or whatnot. And you know the little prongs that you turn the meat over with, that you flip the meat with? They had it hanging on the side of the grill. So I just happened to notice that their cute little dog, Molly, just walked over and started to lick the sauce off of the prawns. So I went and tapped Billy on the shoulder. That's his name, Billy. He was my boss at the time. Now I went and tapped him on the shoulder and I said, Billy, look over there. I said, Molly's over there licking on the thing that you're turning the meat with. And he said, oh, don't worry. It's just Molly. In fact, the dog's mouth is one of the cleanest things ever. And I said, excuse me, say what? Did you just say that a dog's mouth is one of the cleanest things ever? What? And dogs lick their butts and balls? I'm sorry, sir. We're going to have to disagree on that. Needless to say, I didn't eat a thing, okay? Needless to say, I didn't eat a thing. And see, I thought it would be safe because I'm sitting right there watching you prepare the food on the grill. But when your back is turned and your dog's licking sauce and you don't think there's a problem with that, yeah, it's time to go, okay? It's time to go. It's time to go, is all I'm saying. Okay, and so please pay attention. TC Dan said, technically, dogs' mouths are definitely cleaner than humans' mouths. That's not what he said, and nor is that what I said, okay? I'm not going to argue that because I don't know that to be factually true or untrue. What I do know is a dog's mouth is damn sure not clean enough that I want to eat something that a dog licks, okay? I don't even want a dog licking my face, even if it's my own dog, which I don't have a dog currently, but when I did, my dog knew not to try to lick my face or anything else. Okay, Black people's dogs don't play that. Now, with that all being said, it was safe to say that me and my friend got up and left shortly thereafter. We made up a bogus excuse and hightailed it up out of there is all I'm saying. So with that all being said, I'm done here for the day. We will be on the spiritual channel. It's almost 3 o'clock. Give me to like 4 o'clock. And we're not going to talk about the greater key of Solomon today as I had planned. We'll save that for tomorrow because since it's Halloween, we're going to talk about some of the stuff, some of these rituals and things people do on Halloween and the reasons why they do it on Halloween. Okay, since I just realized it's Halloween. With that all been said, I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hit him with that flavor. All in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me?